memorized, so it is helpful. Okay. Hi guys. Well, I named my speech Untitled Documents. So it was an intentionally vague title. The idea at the beginning was that I would just kind of sketch it out and then kind of wing it. But then I realized, winging it just like love is for the birds. So I wrote it in painful detail in a document, but I know for sure I'm going to deviate here and there. But at the end of this, we'll see that that's okay. The funny thing is, this moment, I imagine this moment from day one. Imagine the end right from my first weeks here at CMU, and you'd think that I'd be more excited now than I was back then, but if anything, the excitement has just been slowly diminishing, like some kind of loss function for those. Yeah, and it's kind of strange that right now, in lieu of this like burning excitement, it's more of calmness. And it's not really about having it all figured out. I guess part of it is just relief. But it's more about realizing that I screwed up a lot and I still got to the end. In high school, my first deskmate, really cool guy. I remember when we first met, my introduction was, "Hi, I'm Jerry, and I'm a perfectionist." And it's so funny that I thought of that's like the first thing I thought of saying, and how for the longest time I wore it as a badge of honor. And I would say like half a lifetime later, I've realized I've come to recognize it for what it really is. And what it is mostly entrenched in a lot of fear. Like a fear that if you are not perfect, that somehow you're a bad friend, a bad partner, a bad person. But the irony is that perfectionism has never really been the driver of any meaningful change. If anything, it stifles the very action that you need to take because of all the overthinking, holding yourself back, avoiding risks because you could risk failure. So at this point, I would say that to summarize my journey as I came, I saw, I conquered would be a bit reductive, a bit too simplified, because it's been a lot more complex than that. It's been a lot of inefficiencies, not always been the best teammate, missed dozens of deadlines, and lost the plot for some portions of my journey. But again, at the end, for some inexplicable reason, still made it to the end. So I came to realize that, perfectionism was never a prerequisite, otherwise I wouldn't have made it past the first semester, or even past the first half of the first semester. And there was this through this journey, I've really had to examine myself a lot, and through testing yourself, you really realize what you're made of. As cliche as that sounds, you really realize what you're made of. In Kendrick's last song, in To Pimp a Butterfly, Mortal Man, he asks, excuse the French, he asks if shit hits the fan, is you still a fan? Translate, and I've asked myself that a lot of times. In this context, it's when things are much, much harder than you anticipated, when you really don't think you have what it takes anymore. Are you still a fan of the choice you made at the beginning? Are you still a fan of what you're doing? And in this sense, I also realized that maybe Andrew Carnegie was a bit off, or maybe it's not enough for your heart to be in the work. It's much better for your heart to be in the mission, because it's the mission that drives the work. And there's so many ways to achieve the mission. So the work varies, the mission stays the same. And the account is having a field day. I've said "and" so many times. So if I was to sum this up, I would say, or rather, Sir Winston Churchill would say that it's not, that success is not final, failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. And that's definitely how I would want to approach life from now on, as more of an infinite game where the goal is just to keep playing. It's not about the else, it's about just the courage to keep trying again and again. And as I was reflecting, there's also this famous passage. My time is up, but sorry. There's this famous passage I read in Dr. Brené Brown's book, and it's a passage from a speech by Theodore Roosevelt, and it's now famously called "The Man in the Arena." And in that he said that it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong one stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. So, in conclusion, I've had so many conclusions. To the class of 2025 and 2026, because then it's not that far. It's not far off actually. Beyond the accolades, the achievements, beyond the skills, the experiences, the networks that you've made, I hope that you carry that courage to break the mold, to break the mold, to challenge the status quo, and to disrupt the industries, because you've had yourself tested time and time again, and you've developed this newfound skill to try anything and to be anything. So I would say, go forth and dare greatly on this odyssey and the next. that you would rather have this beautifully imperfect story rather than a blank document. Thank you.